if you use fabric comp, what's the difference between lines versus arcs? So lines will place as many points as you need to adjust the side. Arcs, it only places one point and it creates a curve. So let me give you a quick example. Okay, I'm going to use this design that's already up. So let's see. If I go to fabric comp and the side that's highlighted is the one that you can make adjustments to. So if I want to go to the first side on the right, if I hit next, then it highlights this side. Next, it highlights this side. So for example, if I wanted to use lines, and the purpose of fabric comp is to compensate for a quilt that's not exactly straight or square. But if you fill the space with your design, no one really notices that your quilt is a little off. So say I wanted to add a point here. So if I was at the machine, this is where the needle would be. I'm in simulation, so I'm clicking here, and I'm going to say add a point. So notice it immediately conforms my design to the shape that I'm creating. I can say I need a point down here, I need it to come down a little further, I'll add another point, and maybe up again, add another point, and a little further down. So it's going to conform your design to fit the shape that you want to fill. So I say it'll either squish it or stretch it. Now I'm going to take all of these away, so I'm going to use the X with all of the points removed. So if I were to choose arcs, if I choose a point here and add, it curves the entire thing. So I had selected the top row. I cannot add a second point and get anything different. It'll move it up that way, but still the entire side is going to be changed by the arc. Does that make sense? Get all the way. So, or even if I was at the bottom and I chose arcs and put a point here, it's going to curve the entire design. So it's a little smoother. It's not as jaggedy as if you use lines. Okay. And then to make adjustments to the 4 corner points, use 4-point placement, not fabric comp. So let's go back. If I wanted to bring in either of these 4 corners, you can't do it in fabric comp, but you can do it in 4-point placement. So you just move your placement in, and then you'll have your design, but the corners will actually be in or out. Does that make sense? Because I remember last month, having not done it for a while, I could not remember how to adjust the 4 corners, but that's how you do it. Okay? Was there a question?
Can you please show that?
Show the 4-point placement?
Yes,
adjustment?
please.
Okay.
Yes.
Okie dokie. So I am going to remove all my compensation, and I'll say cancel. And right now I'm on a center point placement. So from Zone Manager, you would want to choose your 4-point placement. So rather than this selection down here, you choose this one so that you get 4 points to place. So I'll say OK. Okay, so rather than just doing 1 point for a center point placement, I'm going to say this is where I want to put point A. And this is where I want point B. And say for point C, I want this point to be inward. And I cannot make that adjustment in fabric comp. I have to say point C is going to come in and select it. Okay, and I've got my width unlocked, and I can also unlock my height. So let's make another adjustment. There. So by unlocking this, I can make adjustments to the width and the height. And then say I want a point D to be out here. No amount of fabric comp will move those four corners, but I can adjust it with my placement. So there's point D out there. And then if I go to plugins and fabric comp, I can still adjust the four sides, but not the 4 points that are at the side. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Super. Fabric comp versus blue diamonds. So fabric comp compresses or expands the pattern to fit. So in other words, it squishes it or it expands it. The blue diamonds actually clips off any extra pattern without squishing or expanding. So if we go back to our example, and now with 4-point placement, you also have the blue diamonds. So let's place my pattern. So I'm gonna okay, so say I want my pattern to be placed here, but I don't need this extra inch down here. If I use the blue diamonds, say I want it cut off right here, and you can put your point anywhere along here that you want that what's on the other side of it removed. And if I hit the blue diamonds, it's gone. So I've not compressed my design at all to fit into a smaller space. I still have my design that's the same size, it's just that the bottom part is gone. As opposed to, if I hit the diamonds again, it takes away everything that I've just done. So fabric comp, let's go to plugins. What I could do is, let's get to the bottom side again. If I use fabric comp, it's going to squish my design. Those 4 points are still going to be where they are, but it's going to compress my design or squish it so that the design size that you're seeing up here is not the same design size that you're seeing down here. It's been squished, it's been moved, it's been compressed. So that would be the difference between using fabric comp to fit into a smaller space as opposed to the blue diamonds to just cut off extra design that you don't need. Does that make sense?
Is this new? Because I thought before you couldn't use the diamonds with the 4-point. Before I thought it was only center.
The diamonds with 4-point placement is new as a version 5.06.09.